As soon as the 1915-1916 Panama-California Exposition ended, World War I began, and Balboa Park was turned into a Navy boot camp. There was a second World Fair in 1935 where more of Balboa's iconic buildings were built, and then San Diego was plunged into World War II, where the park was given back to the Navy and temporarily renamed Camp Kidd until 1946. Since 1977, though, there's been a yearly event here which truly brings out the beauty of the park. It used to be called Christmas on the Prado, but it's grown so big since, it's now called December Nights. To see what I'm talking about, we're going to have to come back at night, but it's still fun to be here during the day to see the celebrations taking place all over the park. These performances continued all day. Meanwhile, let's visit the San Diego History Center. This is actually their second location. The first one is in Presidio Park. The one here in Balboa Park tells the story of San Diego, with vivid paintings and artifacts from back in the day, and the themes often change to keep things interesting. It's not the biggest museum, but its ever-changing exhibits keep me coming back. From exhibits about San Diego's old fishing industry, to the landscape paintings of an artist named Charles Rifle, to an exhibit on the lower part of San Diego called the Stingray, on the early days when there was a little more lawlessness, to the exhibit on the artwork of Dr. Seuss, who actually lived in San Diego, and some of his artwork reflects it. I like the way he drew the Hotel del Coronado here. His real name is Theodore Seuss Geisel, and he died in 1991, but his books are still being read to this day, and his artwork is in museums everywhere. While I was there, I was able to get a hold of some former mayors to say hi to my girls.
Chardonnay, Desiree, and Grace, wish you were here for the Dr. Seuss book reading, but the wonderful museum here, we can't transport that back east.
I'm here tonight at the San Diego History Center, a fun evening that I shared with your dad.
We are here for one reason only.
If you're wondering why I have a cane in some of these shots, I filmed those for another project shortly after an accident. The Air and Space Museum is in an area that used to be called the Ford Building and has been there since 1980, reopening 2 years after the original building was burned down in a fire. However, today is a very special event.
Good morning, Grace, Chardonnay, Desiree. I'm here with your dad at Ripley's Believe It or Not. He wishes you were here having fun like he is, meeting my friend Eric Sprague, the Lizard Man. He's all green. This is tattoos, not paint. He's got a forked tongue. He's got his ears stretched, and he's even got horns in his head. Believe it or not.
That's not actually the dude. It's just a statue. But look, it's a Hulk made out of car parts. They even have the news here. Everybody is gathered for the opening of Ripley's Believe It or Not exhibit, and this was all live morning news, and all of these kids had a chance to be on TV, and I was invited to tag along.
And you're not going to believe it. It's all part of Ripley's Believe It or Not, plus I'll have your weather forecast coming up in just a little bit. Okay, but first I want to hear all the kids yell out.
guys. You ever been on TV before? Yeah! Alright, well today is the day to have fun at Ripley's, believe it or not! Alright.
Ripley's was really cool. They had all sorts of strange and interesting stuff there, like this real two-headed cow. Dead and stuffed now, but the fact that it existed is fascinating. They also had shrunken heads and ritually painted skulls like this one. There's also a section of the Berlin Wall, put up in Germany by the Soviet Union. It separated East and West Berlin for 30 years until it was taken down, and now it is on display here. This section of the museum has some really interesting artifacts.
Cool! Dinosaur eggs! Because actual knight armor was a lot heavier, they went ahead and used cardboard and other types of material to make these. So these aren't actually armor, but it looks good. I find this pretty cool. It's a portrait of the space shuttle, but if you look closely at it, you can see that it's entirely made out of keyboard keys. So this is a Honda Civic that is completely covered in dimes. There's something in the middle of that needle. Oh wow, look at that. So I once said what I would do if, and where I would go if there was a zombie outbreak, but if there was a vampire outbreak, I'd come here. Exploding watermelon! Exploding watermelon! Exploding watermelon! I'm like a DJ. Winkle, 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 boom! A lot of planes. 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 You know, something about this museum, it always trips me out because you walk around and, you know, there's planes and stuff, but every so often you'll see a figure in the background, but it's just a mannequin. But every so often it still startles you.
There is so much more to see at Balboa Park, like the zoo, a number of gardens, and other museums that even a second episode couldn't cover it all. You need more. As time passed, the sun set, and a full moon rose over San Diego this night. Balboa Park's secret beauty was finally revealed to those patient souls who were present to behold. The way they light these buildings only happens during this time of year and is lit up like, hey, is that King Kramer?
We have a great program. In just a couple of minutes we're going to have a House of Scotland type band joining us, but I just wanted to come out and welcome you, so take a seat, get warm. It's not anywhere near as cold as it's been on past, years. Any of you been here when it was really cold?
After getting a picture with King Kramer, I walk all over the park and marvel at the cleverly lit buildings all around and watch as they slowly change color against the setting of the sun. There are also events going on at almost all of the museums, and many a family have made lots of memories here, including mine. For 100 years old, the state of this 1,200-acre park is strong. Over 12 million people visit this place every year, and lots of events happen here. It is home to first-class museums, a top-notch naval hospital, sweeping golfing grounds, breathtaking gardens, and a world-famous zoo. With all that is going for it, this green little square will continue to be a lasting force for generations to come.